This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on April the 13th, 2012. Our time is 8:43 Mountain, 10:43 Eastern. The radio show runs AM 640 in Toronto, QR 77 in Calgary, 630 CHED in Edmonton. If you ever miss a radio show, they are archived on Harold's website, hesradio.com. You can sign up for the podcast there. As well, they're on Harold's website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. As we tape the show on Friday morning, yesterday in the early evening, Mountain Time, later in the evening, Eastern Time, North Korea, they had a rocket test, and ultimately it was a failure. But it does get one thinking about the potential of what's going on in North Korea and even Iran and Israel, that situation, and nothing has been settled with Israel and Iran, Harold. We'll talk about it throughout the entire show. Geopolitical concern right now around the world is one reason you want to have an allocation of hard assets in your portfolio.
Better believe it, Rand. It's a really scary time, I got to tell you. I know it's an election year and the markets are meant to be volatile, and we expected this to happen. But there are so many things going on in the world right now that are concerning that's why you just don't want to be trading the market. You just want to buy and hold. You want to hold your silver positions. You want to hold your gold positions. You want to be in the diamond markets, because there's things that are going on at this point that we could wake up one morning, and this probably will happen fairly soon, and see the markets going absolutely crazy. So don't let this, action in the markets dissuade you and confuse you, because nothing in the world has changed. We still have the potential for high inflation. We still have major problems in the Middle East. The situation in Europe with the sovereign debt situation is getting worse, not better. And again, if it wasn't an election year in the United States, you would see things in the U.S. going south. But basically, the markets are volatile. On Thursday, you saw gold up $20 and silver up $1 on the day. And as we're taping the show on Friday, gold's down $6 on the day. But it made a nice move this week. We're at $1,670 in gold, so it's certainly holding its support levels. Silver's trading down 35 cents, but it's above the $32 level again. Again, right now the metals are trading in a range. However, that is going to change and change fairly quickly. Oil on Thursday had a huge day. It was up over $1 on the day, and now it's down about 80 cents on Friday. So again, you're getting these situations where the markets really don't seem to have a direction, and that's because all this news is coming out. But what I really feel is happening is that the governments are so concerned about what the world problems are and the potential for high inflation in markets like gold and silver taking off, that they just don't want to see that. They don't want to see high oil prices in an election year. And basically that's why you see every time oil gets up to the 105, 106, 108 level, they talk it down and they try to bring it down. However, that only works for a very short period of time. There are so many situations that could move the price of gold, silver, and oil tremendously higher. And just listen to this. Most people don't know that this happened this week, but it's in the newsletter. If you don't receive our newsletter, you definitely want to start to get it. It's loaded with extremely strong information that you don't get mainstream. You see, Randy puts together the newsletters each week, and he just digs and digs and digs and finds the information that we need to make an intelligent business decision. And again, this week's newsletter, even though it was a short week because of Easter Monday, the fact is that some very important news came out this week. And listen to this. Russia is massing troops on Iran's northern border and waiting for a Western attack. The Russian military anticipates that an attack will occur on Iran by the summer and has developed an action plan to move Russian troops through neighboring Georgia to stage in Armenia, which borders on the Islamic Republic, according to informed Russian sources. Russian Security Council head Viktor Ozaroy said the Russian General Military Headquarters has prepared an action plan in the event of an attack on Iran. Dmitry Rogozin, who recently was the Russian ambassador to NATO, warned against an attack on Iran. Iran is our neighbor. If Iran is involved in any military action, it is a direct threat to our security. Rogozin now is the deputy Russian prime minister and is regarded as anti-Western. He oversees Russia's defense sector. Russia's defense ministry, sources say that Russia's military doesn't believe that Israel has sufficient military assets to defeat Iran defenses and further believes that U.S. military action will be necessary. How frightening is that? That's why we're saying that this is what's going on at this particular point. Oil's right now sitting at $102, $103. It could go to $200, $300, $400 if this situation happens. And if Russia gets involved with Iran, which they said they're going to do, don't think China isn't willing to do exactly the same thing. This situation in the Middle East is so frightening and so concerning that if you have Iran, Russia, and China against Israel and United States and England and those type of forces, I mean, we're looking at a devastating situation. Forget the fact that the markets will go absolutely crazy. This is, this is a prelude to World War III type of thing, and a lot of people with a lot of know-how and understanding of what's happening in the Middle East feel that this is a real concern. So, again, another reason why you want to hold your assets. Not to leverage, not to be speculating in the markets, buy your precious metals and your diamonds and just put them aside. In fact, Richard Russell, in this week's newsletter, says exactly the same thing. Your money has got to be in diamonds and gold and silver, and that's what we've been saying for the last decade. So, again, the markets have done extremely well for us. Let's face it, we first started buying gold when it was at $250, realizing that we could start to see these type of scenarios happen. Gold's gone all the way from $250 all the way up to $1,900. It's back sitting at about $1,650, $1,660. We're only $240 off the all-time high in gold, and that could be accomplished in a week. It could actually be accomplished in one day if we have this situation going into the summertime with Israel and Iran and now Russia and possibly China and the U.S. So, again, we've got to be geared up for this, and the situation is frightening to think that this is going on at this particular point. However, when people or countries are in financial problems, they do things that you wouldn't normally do. And again, that's what the major concern is, that people are under such tremendous stress at this particular point. In the United States, they can't pay their bills. I'm a Canadian living in the U.S., and they just can't pay their bills. The economy has not gotten better. You know, if you watch CNBC, and the fact that the stock market was up to over 1,300, everything is great. It's an election year. The jobs numbers seem to be getting better. Maybe the home numbers seem to be getting better. This is a normal situation during an election. However, I can assure you that those situations are not true. The housing industry in the United States is decimated, and the fact is so is the job market. And there are so many in the middle class that can barely pay their bills at this point. In fact, Richard Russell, in his newsletter, is warning against a huge crime wave that will happen because of desperation. So again, right at this particular point, things are starting to heat up again. And this report that came out on Russia and Iran is extremely concerning. It's something that we did feel was going to happen, had the potential of happening. And again, it could literally cause the price of oil to go to $200 to $300 to $400. That's why we have been recommending that you get into the oil market. Not leveraged, but get into the oil market. We love the gold and silver markets, especially silver at this level. $32 silver is a screaming buy. And again, when oil goes up, and the U.S. dollar goes down, which is a scenario that will happen if we do go to war, you're talking about a situation where gold could go to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 over this type of situation as oil goes substantially higher. So this is something that we really need to pay attention to, but you don't wait for it to happen. You've got to have your positions in the market prior to these situations. I would be buying physical silver at this particular point. So many investors were buying silver when it hit $50 last year. Why wouldn't we be buying at $32? $32 is a tremendous price for silver. Silver's not only an industrial metal that's extremely important, it's also a financial metal that goes up with inflation and world problems. So there's just no doubt in my mind that we're heading into a very, very volatile and dangerous time, and we need to have insurance against these type of things happening. The other thing is that right now oil is trading at $103. That's tremendously inflationary. All you need to do is go to the gas station, fill up your car or your truck with gas, and realize how inflationary it is. And the fact is that food prices are going up, and people's wages are not going up. So it's a situation to where inflation is right here in front of you. And if your income does not go up with inflation, if you don't have the right investments, all you're going to do is continue to lose money and quality of life. So basically what what you need to do is you need to have an insurance policy against massive inflation. And basically that's gold, silver, and diamonds. It's always been that way. Gold during 1979 and 80 went all the way up to $850 because of high inflation. Silver went all the way to $52 because of high inflation, and colored diamonds went up 500% in 2 years because of inflation. There's no doubt that we are going to have massive inflation, and it's going to do with high oil prices, with food, with the weakness of the U.S. dollar, and the potential destruction of the euro and other currencies within the European nations. So, again, the scenario is getting much more dire, and we just need to make certain that we're situated in the right markets at the right time to make certain that we don't get beaten up in these markets like everybody else is. You saw this week what happens when the stock market gets volatile. There was days when the Dow was down 200 points, it's down another 100 and change today. The fact is that when these markets start to get into these type of scenarios, the first thing that's going to drop is stocks. And basically, the insiders in Wall Street are already selling their stocks. And who are they selling them to? Unsuspecting buyers that believe that the economy is getting better in the U.S. The only thing that is happening in the U.S. at this point is it's an election year, and they're trying to make things look much better than what they are. I can assure you that is not the case. So again, get the newsletter this week. There's very important information. The information I just brought up to you on Russia and on Iran is a real situation. The summertime is only a few months from now. We need to make certain that we're covered and that we have our protection in the market when this thing erupts.
One thing we didn't touch on, 60 Minutes, they had a feature last Sunday on the sovereign debt crisis in Europe. Steve Croft did a great job talking to different experts, and it was interesting to see what the experts had to say. They basically said Greece will default. It's just a matter of time. If you want to see that interview, that entire feature that Steve Croft did, get our newsletter. There's a link to the story. Get our free weekly newsletter, 1-866-623-2002. The newsletter is the companion to our radio show. We'll send it to you via email, free of charge every week. If you'd like to get it, speak with Worldwide Precious Metals, wwpmc.com. Telephone number 1-866-623-2002, and get our newsletter. It's a must-read this week. Read that information on Russia. It will really open your eyes as to what's happening in the world geopolitically. We have a sovereign debt problem, geopolitical problems. The United States, we'll talk about it a little later. You can read it in the newsletter. Another massive deficit for the month of March. And then on top of it, the housing market is in disarray. Jobs numbers last Friday, we taped our show last Thursday because of the holiday. Jobs numbers came out. They were expecting 200. They got 120,000. And now everyone is talking about more quantitative easing. To invest in precious metals. And this is one thing that I have noticed for the 10 years I've been doing the show. Now is the time to invest in precious metals. When we're in a dip situation or when we're in a consolidation situation where we're trading within a range, we're consolidating right now, waiting for the next move up, those are the times to start your precious metals investment account or add to your position. What you always see is people wanting to chase the market once it's made its move. Position yourself today, right now. Worldwide Precious Metals, give them a chance to earn your business. Yes, lots of different ways out there to invest in precious metals. We were the first 10 years ago to bring it to your attention. A lot of people have come out since, the Johnny-come-latelys, but worldwide they've been in business for 10 years. They're there to help you maximize profit, minimize the risk. They're the experts in this very specialized field. Connect with them, wwpmc.com, telephone number 1-866-623-2002. In our newsletter this week, Jim Sinclair says, quantitative easing to infinity is sure as death and taxes. The recovery in the United States is not going to reach any takeoff speed, but rather return for a secondary recessionary experience post-June of 2012. QE3 will surpass 1 and 2. Gold will trade next between 17 and 21.11 before moving higher. And he thinks that the gold cartel will abandon their shorts over the next 3 years, having met their match in the marketplace. It was very interesting this week. The IMF, International Monetary Fund, came out and said gold is a safe asset. In fact, we have the story in the newsletter. A growing shortage of safe assets poses a new threat to global financial stability, according to the IMF. The fund identified $74.4 trillion of potentially safe assets, including gold, investment-grade government and corporate debt, and covered bonds. Their concern is that some of these supposed safe assets, like government bonds, won't be safe because of all the printing of money. But it's nice to see the IMF come out and admit, which we've been saying for 10 years, that gold is a safe haven asset, and you'd need an allocation of that in your portfolio. Two great articles in the newsletter that are must-reads, too long really to talk about, but Jeff Clark from Casey Research wrote an article called Is the Correction Over? And he believes that now is a great time to look at investing in precious metals. In fact, in another story he wrote, what happens to gold if we enter a recession or depression? He says, in regard to precious metals, don't lose patience or confidence in your precious metals holding. What happens to price over any short period of time is only one chapter in the book of this precious metals bull market, and we think you'll be happy by the time the last chapter is written. And Harold, obviously people, they want to make money. They want to invest, and they want to make money as soon as humanly possible, and we understand that. But you also have to look at many other reasons why you're investing in precious metals, having that allocation in your portfolio, whether it be 5, 10, 15, 20%, whatever you feel comfortable. Obviously, it's that insurance policy against waking up and finding out that North Korea had a rocket that worked. Israel and Iran are at war. The sovereign debt situation, you've had Greece default. These are the insurance policies, gold, silver, and diamonds you need in your portfolio in case these events do happen, along with price appreciation. Now is the time to speak with Worldwide about starting your precious metals investment account. www.pmc.com, telephone number 1-866-623-2002. I understand people at times, Harold, get frustrated when the market just goes sideways, but this sort of reminds me of the time when silver was $17. We knew QE2 was coming, and we were pounding the table. Get into silver. Get into gold. And silver went from $17 all the way to $50. And I think we're at that point now where we are in a similar scenario, a similar setup. We don't know the exact timing of how it's going to play out, but you need to have an allocation of precious metals.
You're 100% right, and that was a perfect analogy, the $17 to $50, and it didn't take all that long for that to happen, which, again, when you see how these markets trade and the reasons that they do what they do, again, you'll understand what the potential is of the market. However, again, we're not into speculation. We're not risk takers here. We're not saying that we want to make a fortune in the gold and silver market. Otherwise, we'd be heavily leveraging, and we don't do that. What we're recommending is that you own it as a hedge against all these terrible things that are out there. Because if you don't own the right assets at this particular point, you're going to find that your whole livelihood is going to change, and that defeats the entire purpose for listening to the show. For the last 10 years, we've been saying the same thing, that we're going to have massive inflation and world problems. And again, gold and silver has not disappointed. But again, we're not trading the market. We're buying it as an insurance policy, as a hedge against inflation and world problems and a weak U.S. dollar, and there's no doubt that that's happening. So again, the markets are going to do what they're going to do for the next couple months. But the closer we get to summer, and if this report on Russia that we just read to you is accurate, we're only a couple months away from seeing what's going to happen in the Middle East. Obviously not something that we're looking forward to. However, we would be remiss if we did not warn our clients that this is potentially going to happen and what we need to protect ourselves against it. Again, if oil goes to $200, $300, $400, which it easily could do, again, what's that going to do to our inflation? What's it going to do to our livelihood? How do we fill up our gas tank? How do we fill, our homes with heating oil and that type of thing? Let's get ready for it right now, because again, every indication is that this is going to happen. And even with the government's trying to beat down the price of oil and metals, we're still sitting at a very, very comfortable level. Again, gold is above its support level. So is silver, and the fact is, so is oil. So we're just sitting there waiting for this to happen, but we're perfectly situated with gold, silver, and diamonds because no matter what happens, we're going to be able to capitalize on them. And the fact is that unless we believe that we're going to wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden all these situations are gone, all of a sudden Europe is flush with money, the United States is fine, stock markets are back up, real estate prices are high, Israel and Iran are holding hands, and everybody, if we believe that's going to happen, then maybe we shouldn't be in the hard asset market. But for those of us who believe that that is the total opposite, again, we need to be in hard assets, and they have not disappointed us. So again, gold, silver, diamonds will get us through these extremely volatile and difficult times. And again, all we want to do is make certain that our clients that listen to our radio show do the right thing and protect themselves, because again, we're going to need protection, and it's only a couple months away.
And I think our listeners have to understand as well, being in an investment like precious metals or diamonds, you're not being debased. They are printing money. Inflation is eating away at your currency due to many different reasons. With a hard asset, they cannot print gold. They cannot print silver. They cannot print diamonds. It's a hard asset that is fixed, and that's the ultimate goal. You want to be able to have the purchasing power with the investments that you have, the assets that you have, and not have it go in the wrong direction, have it steady or going up. But at least in precious metals, you're not being debased. The telephone number to invest in precious metals, there's only one company Harold recommends. That is Worldwide Precious Metals. Been in business 10 years. Canadian company. Give them a chance to earn your business. They're the experts in this very specialized field. They are more than happy to explain to you the ins and outs of this market and how you can get involved. The telephone number, 1-866-623-2002. Their website, wwpmc.com. Mark Faber, we talked about him last week. He is very, very concerned about what's happening in the world. And he said rich people of the world are about to see 50% of their wealth destroyed. He says somewhere down the line, we will have a massive wealth destruction that usually happens either through very high inflation or through social unrest or war or a credit market collapse. He is saying ease up on stocks. He is saying as well that you need to have an allocation of precious metals. Interesting. Thomson Reuters GFMS coming out this week and saying that gold will hit in the short term $2,000 on fears of Spain. Adam Hamilton, he talks about quantitative easing 3 in gold. He's actually saying in an article, you can read in our newsletter, the bottom line is quantitative easing is certainly not the only form of monetary inflation throughout and after its widely followed QE campaigns. The Fed has continued to grow both narrow and broad U.S. dollar supplies at very high rates. The magnitude of this core inflation is even more amazing considering the gargantuan bases it comes from. Such incredible monetary inflation remains very bullish for gold. So while the QE inflation was undoubtedly great for gold, the lack of QE3, whether we get it or not, doesn't mean the Fed has mended its inflationary ways. The QE scares that plummeted gold are merely psychological, not fundamental. Whether QE happens or not, gold prices will eventually reflect the continuing mammoth printing of U.S. dollars. Traders who understand this now have a phenomenal buying opportunity. To invest in precious metals, 1-866-623-2002, the website wwpmc.com. Going to come back and talk about diamonds and the auction. The World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on April 13th, 2012. Our time is 9:08 Mountain, 11:08 Eastern. Radio show runs AM 640 in Toronto. I have a lot of friends who live in Toronto, listen to the show. And also 630 Chat in Edmonton, QR77 in Calgary. Ever miss a show, they're archived on Harold's website, hesradio.com, and they're portable. You can take them anywhere you want. All you need to do is put them on your MP3 device. You can sign up for our podcast, put it on your iPod, and you can go jogging, riding your bike, in the car, whatever. You can listen to our radio show if you ever miss us. To invest in precious metals, only one company Harold recommends. www.pmc.com, their website, their name, Worldwide Precious Metals, Canadian company. Telephone number 1-866-623-2002, 1-866-623-2002. Harold's two websites he has is rarecoloreddiamonds.com and hsfineauctions.com. We'll talk shortly about HS Fine Auctions and the auction they had this week. It was a massive, massive success. And Rare Colored Diamonds has its featured Diamond of the Week on the website. This week's diamond is a 0.33 carat marquee cut fancy intense pink diamond. At Argyle, pink diamonds making it to the annual tender are literally 1 in a million. For every 1 million carats of rough diamonds produced from the mine, only 1 polished carat is offered for sale in the tender. An entire year's worth of production of pink diamonds measuring over half a carat would fit in the palm of your hand. In terms of global diamond production, pinks make up only 0.03%. Harold, we're talking about the rarest of the rare, and people have an opportunity through you to be involved in this market, to invest in an alternative asset in the crazy financial and geopolitical times that we live in. It is a must.
You bet, Randy, you bet. And I'm very proud to be able to have brought these diamonds to our listeners. I mean, we've been in these for many, many years, and they're just proving to be just a phenomenal investment. They're not volatile like stocks and commodities. They don't trade on exchanges. And colored diamonds are so rare and there's so few of them that, again, we've never seen a price decrease. And the beautiful thing about the featured diamond this week is that it's an Argyle pink, and it's a very rare marquee cut. And as you can see by the video, it's absolutely a stunning diamond. But as an investment, it's one of the most important investments that you can make. Number one, they never, ever go down in value, never. They increase by 25% a year, and that means they double in price every 4 years. On top of that, the mine that produces them, the Argyle mine, is getting ready to close its doors. They've been producing diamonds since 1985, and now the mine is not producing, it's not profitable, and they plan on closing it before 2018, which is only 6 years from now. So this is not a short-term investment, it's a longer-term investment. Most of our clients that invest in diamonds, colored diamonds, they have them for their retirement and for their safety. The thing is that the closer we get to the Argyle mine closing down, the higher and higher these prices keep on going, because there's not going to be any more pink diamonds. 95% of the pink diamonds are produced by this one mine. So it's a supply and demand situation. Demand for these diamonds is extremely high, but the supply is very, very low. In fact, if you held your hand out and they poured the entire year supply of pink diamonds into the palm of your hand, it would barely cover the palm. So you're talking about a minuscule market, but you're talking about an asset that is so important because it never falls in price. It doubles in price every 4 years. The closer we get to the mine closing down, these diamonds can increase 8 to 10 times what you paid for them. It means if you bought a diamond for $50,000, that diamond could be worth $500,000 in the next 10 years or less. And that's the type of returns we anticipate taking out of this market. We've seen it in 1979 and 80, almost the identical situation, and we've got a second opportunity to take advantage of the diamond market. So if you missed making 500% in 2 years in rare colored diamonds in 1979 and 80, you've got one other opportunity to do it, and that happens to be right now. So look at the featured diamond. It's a 33-point marquee, a very rare cut, fancy intense pink Argyle diamond. It's got all the paperwork. It's laser inscribed, one of the best investments you could possibly make. But let me also outline to you the other benefits of owning a diamond. If you ever wanted to leave Canada or the country that you live in and go someplace else, if things got really dire and you needed to start all over again, you cannot cross a border with more than $10,000 in your pocket. They'll confiscate it at the border and more than likely put you in jail. And that's the same with taking physical gold or taking stocks or taking anything like that with you. The only asset that you can cross a border with that is undetectable is a diamond. And how many times I've crossed a border, with my wife on vacation or on business, and she wears an 8 and a 14-carat diamond, and nobody's ever stopped her. So basically, it's always been portable, transferable wealth. The Europeans call it real estate in your pocket. Never, ever been more important than now to own a rare colored diamond. It could literally save your life. The other thing is the currency. the currency can play a huge part. And I'll talk about that when we talk about the auction, because we had so much European buyers coming into this last auction, and because the British pound was worth so much more than the American dollar, they got a 35% discount on buying on our auction site. So again, the diamond market is exploding. There's so few diamonds available of high quality to go around, and we're the leading dealer of rare colored diamonds. So we very strongly recommend these Argyle pinks. The mine is going to close before 2018, possibly by 2016, which is only 4 years from now. Give it 2 years for these diamonds to run out, and we believe that these diamonds will increase by 8 to 10 times what you paid for them today. And I doubt that there's any other investment that could show you those type of returns with the safety that you have in the rare colored diamond market. We're also the only company in existence that could resell the diamond for you. We own H. Siegel Fine Auctions, and we built that auction site for our clients to resell their high-end collectibles. Now, the other diamonds that we're talking about are yellow flawless diamonds. They have to be flawless, though, and they've got to be either fancy yellow, fancy intense yellow, or fancy vivid, even though we do have a couple fancy light internally flawless diamonds that are 10s out of 10, and they look like they're actually fancy yellows, and the prices are a little bit less expensive. So you can get involved in yellow flawless diamonds for as low as $15,000. Obviously, $15,000 is still a lot of money. However, if you've got investments in paper assets like stocks or mutual funds or those type of things, and you're being warned almost daily that that market can plummet like it did in 2008 when it fell in half, you want to take some money out of that market and put it into safer assets. In 1979 and 80, you could have bought a 1-carat fancy yellow internally flawless diamond for $500. Today they're close to $20,000. They've never ever gone down in price. They double every 4 years, but during times of high inflation in 79-80 they went up 500%. In those 2 years. We anticipate a very similar move coming. In the next 5 years, a diamond that you could buy today for $20,000 could be a $100,000 diamond within the next 5 years. And we do anticipate with high inflation coming and a weakness in the U.S. dollar, and we know it's coming because of high oil prices and the fact that the Federal Reserve in the United States has said that they're not going to raise interest rates until at least another 4 to 5 years. So the fact is that the U.S. dollar will continue to fall in value, which will push assets like gold, silver, and diamonds substantially higher. It also brings on high inflation. A weak dollar brings on high inflation because it doesn't buy as much. So again, we know that gold and silver and diamonds respond to inflation better than any other asset. The reason that we're saying to have rare colored diamonds in your portfolio is because they never ever decline in value. They're a safe asset. They're portable private wealth. You can put a multi-million-dollar diamond in your pocket and cross a border and nobody would know about it. And again, that may come into effect. We don't know how severe this world situation is happening. When you have guys like George Soros that are saying that the financial world as we know it is going to come to an end, you know that you need to have alternative investments. We are now offering to our listeners, to our radio show, and to other listeners around the world, our online seminars. We actually have an amazing presentation on rare colored diamonds, and it covers every aspect of diamonds, how they were formed, what they are. I'll show you how to read a GIA report. We even have a video of a diamond being cut that took 3.5 months to cut, and we reduced it down to 2 or 3 minutes on our video. So if you have an investment club, if you're interested in investing in rare colored diamonds, but you want further information, it would be our pleasure to set up an online seminar, and we will conduct that for you free of charge and give you the information that you need to make an intelligent business decision. Again, it's alternative investments at this point that are going to save your financial life. If you keep with the same investments of stocks and mutual funds, the same thing that happened in 2008 and in 1999 when the markets plummeted is probably going to happen after the elections this year. So again, what you need to do is reconstruct your financial portfolio. Be well diversified. We understand that you need to keep some money in paper assets like stocks. I personally don't have anything in there and haven't had for many, many years now. I'm just not a believer in those markets at this particular point. However, Every market has its time. There are tax implications to, unloading your entire stock portfolio, and I'm not necessarily saying that you should do that. What I am saying is that you should diversify and take some money out of the risky stock market and put some of it into a diamond. It could literally save your financial life. Now, I had mentioned also before over the last month or so that we sell most of the yellow flawless diamonds in the world. In fact, my cutter cuts most of the yellow flawless diamonds. And most of those diamonds are in the hands of our Canadian clients, tucked away in safety deposit box and banks, waiting for us to resell the diamonds 5 to 10 years down the road. Now, the thing is that what you also have to realize is that there's so few of these diamonds available that what we did last year is that we bought the entire supply of rough, uncut yellow diamonds. And there are firms out there that literally went on radio last week and said that that was not possible to do. Well, all you need to do is go on the website this weekend, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, spelled both American and Canadian, and you will see approximately 100 yellow flawless diamonds. Of all the diamonds that we cut, from all the rough that we bought last year, there was only 100 to 110 yellow flawless diamonds for the entire world, and most of them, those are on my website. So again, we do this for our clients. We do this for our Canadian clients that listen to our radio show for the last many years. We appreciate everything that you do and your trust in us, and we come through for you. Not only have our diamonds increased in value substantially, but one of the problems with the rare colored diamond market, or the diamond market in general, or the collectible market in general, is where do you resell your high-end collectibles? And we realized that we needed an exit strategy. So what we did here at Rare Colored Diamonds and H. Siegel Fine Auctions is we created the secondary market that you need to resell your high-end collectibles. And our clients out there that bought silver coins from us 5, 6, 7 years ago are selling their assets, some of them on our website, on our auction site, hsfineauctions.com, and are doing tremendously well. In fact, one client bought a Libertad, a beautiful 32.15 ounce or 1 kilo Libertad 5 years ago for $1,500 and sold it for, with commission, $4,200 on the auction site. This last auction that we had that was just on Tuesday evening was the most successful that we've ever had. And again, we've built this auction site exclusively for our clients to resell their high-end collectibles down the road. These are not for outside dealers or jewelers or other investors that bought from other companies. I cannot verify what these people have bought. I guarantee everything that is sold on my websites and my auction site, and that's why we only sell our own clients' assets. Now, if you go on HS for Harold Siegel, hsfineauctions.com, and look at the catalog from Tuesday, every single item sold. The Pope the Prophet of Peace sold, the silver coin, the 2003 Mini Outback collection, the Wildlife Series Proof set, the 2004 Year of the Monkey typeset collection. One of the highlights was the 2004 Year of the Monkey 5-coin collection. In this collection was a kilo silver coin and a 10-ounce silver coin, along with a 2-ounce, 1-ounce, and half-an-ounce silver coin. These were all numbered pieces, and they all sold for phenomenal prices. The Australian Koala 2003 Platinum set, 5-coin set sold, and then for the first time, because this is only our 5th auction, we sold a yellow flawless vivid diamond, and it was exciting. It was an 85-point radiant cut, fancy vivid yellow internally flawless diamond. The client that sold it was extremely happy with the returns that he made. He made 60% on his money in a period of 3 years. Also what sold was a near-flawless 31-point princess cut, fancy intense orangey pink argyle. It's a VVS1. That sold. A round fancy purplish pink argyle sold. An intense pink argyle sold. And the two highlights were the 36-point radiant cut vivid purplish pink argyle that with commission sold for close to $70,000, and so did the heart-shaped fancy deep pink argyle sold for around the same price. The funny thing is, most of them were bought from European investors, because the British pound is worth so much more than the U.S. dollar. That's what I've been talking about, how the currency markets are going to help us not only sell our diamonds, but when we can sell them in Europe and get, other currencies back for them, this is what we do for our clients. Again, it took me 2 years to build this site and an awful lot of money, but I insisted on it being a live site where we sell, and I actually do the selling of every single piece. So it's not like like an eBay where you go on and there's no selling and you just put your bid in. This is a real auction, and it's the only live real-time auction site ever built, and I built it for my clients to resell their high-end collectibles. So if you're a client of mine and of Rare Color Diamonds, this site is for you to use. If you're buying diamonds from other sources, hopefully they're going to be able to sell those diamonds for you. But the fact is that every single item on our website, on our auction we sold 100% of what we put up for bid. And even when you look at the great firms like Christie's and Sotheby's, they're lucky to sell 50 or 60%, and we sold 100% on this last auction, and are attracting bidders from all over the world now. We had people from Israel, from China, from Japan, from England, from all over Europe. We had over 600 people that signed up for the auction, and this has only been our 5th auction. So, again, I'm extremely excited about what we're doing in the diamond business. Again, I put a tremendous amount of money in it because I believe in it. I've been in business for 35 years, and again, I think it's one of the best investments you could ever make, and now you can watch and participate with H. Siegel Fine Auctions, because nobody else in the business has an auction site like we do, and we built it for our clients to resell their high-end collectibles. I've never been more proud than what we did last Tuesday, Randy.
Well, it was an incredible sale, and obviously we have incredible diamonds about to hit the website, rarecolordiamonds.com. Go there this weekend. Take a look at all the yellow diamonds on the website. rarecolordiamonds.com. Take a look at the featured diamond. And I noticed in the paper this morning that once again, Burke's in Edmonton showcasing that big pink giant diamond that they brought in. And I would say to them, if they need any help selling it, speak with Harold Siegel. He's the preeminent dealer when it comes to pink diamonds, not only in Canada, but all around the world. So if you need a little help there, Burks, speak with Harold, rarecolordiamonds.com. The telephone number as well, 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. We will tell you when the next auction for hsfineauctions.com will be coming up. And Harold mentioned that, there are obviously other companies out there. It's not even a matter, will they be able to resell your diamond? Will they even be in business? That's what I wonder about. Sotheby's, they actually are having a sale next week. We will keep you up to date. A fancy vivid yellow 23.02 carat cushion-shaped step-cut diamond. It's the top item at Sotheby's magnificent jewel auction in New York next week. The diamond has a $1.15 to $2 million estimate. The $65,000 to $86,000 per carat price tag on it is joined by other fancy diamonds, including a fancy pink cut cornered rectangular modified brilliant cut diamond weighing 6 carats, set in a platinum ring, framed by a small round near colorless diamonds, and the estimate on that is $1 million. We will have auction results for you next week. There was a story that Bloomberg had this week that I wanted to mention. Diamond prices may rise on stone shortages, according to Bain. The $60 billion diamond jewelry market may face structural shortages and price increases, particularly for large stones, as demand doubles by 2020, led by growth in China and India, according to the consulting firm Bain & Company. Diamond demand in carats will rise more than 6% a year until 2020, outpacing the 2.8% annual growth in supply, Bain said in a report for the Antwerp World Diamond Center. Production will reach about 175 million carats by then, exceeding the peak reached in 2007. Even in the most conservative growth scenario, the estimates are clearly very positive, said Bain, whose forecast is based on a doubling of the middle class in China and India, which will account for 30% of the global market by 2020, the same as the U.S. Financial speculation may play a role in the anticipated price increase as well, according to Bain. We had an article last week and it's a must-read. Get the newsletter from Harold this week by connecting with him at rarecoloreddiamonds.com or 1-800-432-1022. It's an article that CNBC had. Diamonds are a great way to diversify. It is a must-read. Harold, a very, very exciting time in the world of diamonds.
You better believe it. I'm so thrilled. You know, the thing is, the estimate that they are giving on that Vivid diamond, it could literally sell for way more than that. Don't forget, last year, Christie's had a Vivid diamond, a yellow diamond for sale in a Bulgari ring, and it was about 2.5 carats. It was a VVS1. It wasn't flawless, but obviously excellent quality. The people at Christie's estimated it would sell between $110,000 and $150,000, and it sold for $960,000. Now, when you go on our website this weekend and you go to the loose diamond section, and you look at our beautiful yellow diamonds, you go to the Vivids, which are the best quality, the highest color. That's Gemological Institute of America grades it as the best color. So when you look at these diamonds, you're going to see a 240, a 2.4 carat yellow, Vivid yellow flawless, and you're going to see a 261 fancy Vivid yellow IF. These diamonds are just in about the $110,000 to $120,000 range, but don't forget, these are flawless Vivids, the same size as and better quality that the one that sold for $960,000 in New York. So again, we keep our prices extremely low. We want our clients to make a lot of money, and we make our money when you sell your diamond. When we sell your diamonds for you on our auction site, we only get 10% of the profit. So if we don't do a great job for you, we don't make the money ourselves. But again, I've been in business 35 years. I know this business very, very well, and I certainly would not have done that if it wasn't going to be beneficial for my clients and for my company. So again, if a $120,000 or $130,000 diamond last year sold for $960,000, I've got two diamonds that are better than that, and they're in the $120,000 range. That gives you an indication as to the type of diamonds that we offer to our clients, and again, we're the ones that will resell it for you. So I've never been more excited. As scary as the financial world is right now, with currencies and countries going under and inflation and potential war in the Middle East and everything, you need to own an asset like this. If you got your money sitting in your retirement funds and it's not making any money for you, buy yourself a diamond and put it away in the safety deposit box, or better still, put it on your wife's finger and let her enjoy it till we sell it for you. But again, it's one of the most important times to diversify and to make certain that you are protected against the onslaught of what's coming, which is extremely high inflation and devaluations of currencies. Diamonds are one of the best investments you could ever make.
Before anybody else, Harold was first. We have the article. It was published in 2005, August of that year. Naturally, fancy colored diamonds, the best kept secret. And they are for 5 reasons: privacy, portability, estate planning, price stability, and long-term growth. Harold was the first one to bring this to you. A lot of Johnny-come-latelys, but Harold is the preeminent colored diamond dealer in the world, with his website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, and hsfineauctions.com, his auction site. To connect with him about our featured diamond this week, 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. We have about 2 minutes left in the show, Harold, to invest in precious metals. The only company Harold recommends is Worldwide Precious Metals. They're the people he recommends you deal with. Give them a chance to earn your business. Telephone number 1-866-623-2002, and their website, www.pmc.com. You can get our free weekly newsletter via email, free of charge every week, from Worldwide or Harold. Some things quickly to get to. QE, Janet Yellen, who is with the Fed Reserve Vice Chairman, saying that she sees low interest rates until 2014. Very positive for precious metals and diamonds. The sovereign debt crisis, Richard Russell says he sees Europe heading for a massive collapse. George Soros coming out this week and saying that the Eurozone debt crisis and EU is unlikely to survive without far-reaching reforms. Also, the United States racking up another $198 billion in debt in March. They have racked up $777 billion so far this year. The jobs numbers out of the United States are very poor last Friday. John Williams from Shadowstat saying that the unemployment rate really is 22%. You heard right, 22%. Harold, there's also going to be a massive wave of foreclosures in the United States. We have stories about that in our newsletter. We encourage people to get the companion to our radio show. And thank you once again for your knowledge.
Well, it's my pleasure. Again, very good show. Great newsletter, Randy. I want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very profitable day.
Thank you, Harold. The telephone number to invest in precious metals, 1-866-623-2002, wwpmc.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Speak with Harold about diamonds, 1-800-432-1022. And if you'd like to take a look at the items from the past 5 auctions that Harold has had, and you can go to Harold's website, hsfineauctions.com. We will let you know when the next auction is. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.